Hey folks, welcome into the studio today. As always, we are with Megan Wallander from the tax office. And we hear Greg in the background walking in.
He's just walking in the
door. So, good morning to Greg there. And welcome to Tips from TTO. We've got some pretty good topics here for you. Hopefully it'll be helpful. A lot of stuff happening within the government, taxes, all the stuff, craziness. What do we do, Megan?
Right, exactly. What do we do? What's our starting point? What's our middle point and the end point? I don't know.
If you don't know, we're in trouble.
Right. We can figure it out together.
So we're going to start off talking about, there's been everything. Dates have been pushed back and different things. So let's start talking about, you were discussing with me late last week about quarterly reports and what we're dealing with that. So why don't you fill us in a little bit?
So a couple of dates that didn't get pushed back were the second quarter of this year and the reports that are supposed to be sent in, your 941 reports, your state reports, and then of course your unemployment reports. There were no extensions on that. So as a small business, we know that we've had a lot of challenges in the second quarter because that's really kind of when the shutdown started happening, and we saw businesses not open, partially open, whatnot. So in that sense, it would have been very easy to forget some of those things because you weren't operating as normal. And then when the businesses were opening, that's when we were ending, end of June was the end of the second quarter. And so those reports were due in, the end of July. So it would have been very easy to forget. So we just want to remind everybody that those reports were technically due by July 31st. If you haven't gotten those in, it would be a really good time to get those reports filled out and get that money sent in.
Yeah, because, it's easy to forget stuff like that. You've gone, you might not have even had sales for like the month of June and even May, right?
Well, May and, we saw a lot of art in April. So we had a lot of clients that didn't have sales for April and May. Wow. And you go 3 months and you're not operating as normal. So that would have been easy to forget. So, get those reports in, write those checks. If you need help, give us a call. We'd be more than happy to help you out. But yeah, those dates were not extended, unfortunately, for, any corporations, any businesses. So get those reports in. We don't want you to rack up any fines or, fees, considering everything going on. We don't want to add more stress.
We don't need that. There's enough.
No, there's enough.
So let's talk a little bit about what the latest executive order from President Trump.
Yes.
The payroll tax deferral. And we need to make sure that word stay a deferral. What does that mean? You and I, again, Megan and I have walked through this. I've read the memorandum from President Trump, and it's a good thing I don't know tax speak, man, because all these numbers are in there and all this
it's hard for us to understand.
It's full of just tax codes, and if you don't know the tax code, you've got to go read the tax code and understand what those things are about, correct?
Yes, and that is honestly, I can say, Greg, the tax guy, has definitely been doing his research, and the IRS code book is about this big, and it changes on a regular basis. So, so there are, there's lots of numbers, lots of changes and whatnot. And it was an executive order. So there are things that are still being written in the bill that are going to come down. It's not necessarily black and white, but there is an opportunity for a deferral of the Social Security tax for businesses for the rest of 2020, I believe. So
yeah, starting September 1st. Now, and he's going to do this deferral. Now, whether it becomes a bill and whether they put it in, he's already signed that executive order. That will happen.
Yeah, so
because he has the power to do it.
He does.
But as we saw, I think it was South Dakota. It was either South Dakota. North Dakota, one of the two. I think it was South
One
Dakota.
of the Dakotas, yes. I think it's South.
They even rejected, or they said we don't need the unemployment extension that he had signed. They just said we don't need it. Everybody's going back to work. And here's one of the states that didn't shelter in place and all that kind of stuff. And
they did not do a full shutdown.
No, so I mean, there's an interesting. We're not going to get in the politics of all that, but just looking at the scope of things, how do business owners look at this deferral thought process and beneficial for them, their employees? How does that going to work, Meg?
Honestly, I think we're seeing mixed reviews in businesses that, the decision to, are we going to have to pay it back? Is that something that's going to have to be a big chunk of change at the end of the year? What does that look like? We don't know all of the answers to that yet. So once we do find that out, we will be the first ones to jump on here and tell you exactly what that is. But we're seeing mixed reviews in the sense of we can't keep our, how do we keep our employees? How do we keep our teams on and not, make our labor costs go, through the roof? And how do we make it enticing for them to stay on because of the unemployment? So we're seeing mixed reviews in that. So hopefully there's going to be some more information coming down the pipeline very, very soon to where we can give, more of an informative of, yes, take the deferral or not. And honest, I haven't heard anything lately of, is it going to be mandated to where you have to defer it, or can you choose to defer it?
Right.
Is there going to be an option that way?
And I think, because here's the thing. That's because it's basically the employer. You're in FICA, Social Security, that all that wrapped in 12.4%. They pay in every tax period out of every paycheck. Okay. Because that is 6.2% that the individual pays to the government every paycheck. For Social Security. Yep. Right. And then the matching funds from the employer, which makes it 12.4%. So what the deferral is that the individual, the actual employee, won't have to pay their 6.2%, but the company will still be liable to pay their 6.2%, the matching fund. So that is something everybody needs to understand. You're still, the company will still have to pay the 6.2%. So it's not like you won't be writing a check. You will still be writing a check. So it basically comes down, I think, to the employee. What do you want to do? Do you take a tax?
Do you want that extra?
Yeah. Do you take an interest-free loan at that moment?
Basically, yes. And hopefully we're seeing it, could go either way. Are you going to have to, once it's reinstated, are you going to have to pay that back? And I think that would be a good question.
Well, President Trump did say, he said if he's reelected in November 3rd, that he would work to, make that permanent and forgive it. Yes. And so it wouldn't be,
which would be great.
There's a lot of incentives. This is what's happening. This is the thought process. These are the things that are happening around this. So we've got till September 1st to really kind of look at this, and we'll chew the fat over it more in an upcoming episode as well.
Right, absolutely. Hopefully, once that information comes down the pipeline, we can educate more on, especially, employees, team members, whatever you choose to call them, to be able to get off the unemployment piece of the puzzle. And that's the idea behind it, to be able to bring people back to work and give that extra little incentive saying, hey, there's that dollar amount. Let's get off the unemployment. Let's get back to work, which I'm all for, especially for small businesses. They're hurting.
That's the thing. We do need to get back to work. And I know there are people out there that are pundits for, well, we can't go back till it's safe. It's safe. Nobody. If I don't know people who run decent companies who aren't going to be ready to make sure within reason. Let's make sure we do say this within reason, that there are safety. I mean, didn't we clean our offices before? Did we not do these things?
That was our question.
And have somebody come in. Did we not wipe things down? Did we not do these? And did we not have hand sanitizer in our offices before? Did we not do these things? I know we didn't wear masks. Nobody really. If you're sick, stay home. Pick up the phone, call. We can. There was opportunities for FaceTime before that.
Absolutely. Mm-hmm.
There's all these things were already in place. So
technology is a great thing.
I think we need to stop with the political wrangling, stop with the fear mongering, and just talk about some real sensible opportunities to put people back to work, get businesses going. And
absolutely,
that's a small little take right there for you. We'll move on.
And put business practices in place
yes.
to keep everybody back to work and everybody safe. But get your business back up and running. Absolutely.
If people think that their safety is at issue, I don't know how this hadn't been an issue over the last 20 years, even before that and before that. There's always risk to everything. Let's be smart about what we're doing, and let's move forward with working to get our country back moving. Right?
Absolutely. Oh, I agree wholeheartedly.
So we got one last topic for you today, folks. Payroll protection plan, Meg. Where are we at with that? I mean, what's going on? I know they extended the deadline to August 8th, right?
Yes.
And so what's the nuances of this? How are those things working? What are people going to have to expect here?
So expecting to send in lots of payroll reports and verifying where your money went, what it was spent on. I don't know if you were able to apply. I did see a tidbit. I'm going to have to do a little more research. I did see a tidbit this morning. You might have been able to apply for another extension, depending on where you were at. But basically putting together a portfolio of saying where your money went, how you spent it, what you have left, and then applying for the the loan protect or the forgiveness of your loan and how much of it you can get forgiven. You can apply for 100%, 75%. It just depends on where you're at as far as how you spent it, where the money went, and then verifying. You are going to have to secure those documents and send those in. And then there's, I believe it starts with your bank, and then it moves forward to the state level and then the IRS level, wherever, the chain of command, how that's going to work. So, get on irs.gov, and there's lots of information on that particular website about the paper check protection. And then consult your local bank. That's wherever you got the loan. Of course, that money came from the higher up. However, get with your local bank. They're going to give you the information on the forgiveness piece of that puzzle. Start with them, and then consult your payroll person. Who, if you do outsource your payroll, get with them. They're going to have the necessary documentation for you that you're going to need to supply with them. Your accountant, huge. Get with your accountant because gross income for that particular time, XYZ. Right. Lots of pivot points. So start with your bank first. They're going to give you that rundown of what you're going to need to apply for that forgiveness, and then payroll or your payroll advisor, your accountant. All your outsourcing. However you choose to do that with your business.
Okay, so when the payroll protection plan started, if you didn't enroll, there's no issues. There's nothing. You're not going to have to mess. So don't worry about it. That doesn't affect
if you didn't apply for it.
Don't worry about it. And it's pretty much gone at this point, right?
Yes, I believe I don't know. I don't know if they extended the date where you can apply for it, whatnot. There hasn't been a whole lot of information. That deadline was really the last big push for the information of being able to apply for it. And then now the forgiveness documentation piece of that puzzle is coming up. Okay. So there are still loans out there. I will say there are still loans out there for small businesses that are not the SBA, the small loan, the $10,000 loan. I believe that one is pretty much drained. The paper check protection, we coming up on those deadlines, the forgiveness piece. But there are still options out there for you as a small business. If you have questions about it, give us a call. Visit irs.gov. Go to our website. We have links up there that will drive you to those pieces of that puzzle. If you still not finding what you need, give us a call here at the tax office. We can help guide you that way.
There's also we're updating as much as we can to the tax office resource page with links
Yes.
and things and information there that what Megan's talking about. So you can go to their website, thetaxoffice.com// That was tough. Resource page. So check that out. There's like I said, we've got plenty of opportunities there. So Meg, as always, thank you very much for your time. It looks like somebody's calling right now. What do we got going on?
Yeah, Mr. Greg, he's answering the phone. So
I was just watching, and this is ridiculous.
Right, I don't know what I'm doing. Yes. Well, we're seeing a lot of that. What am I going to do for 2021? So that is, that's on everybody's mind right now. Small businesses and even personal people like, this is going to be a nightmare. So yeah, keep us in mind. One-stop shop.
Hey, folks, we'll be back in a couple weeks with some more tips from TTO. Until then, again, if you need any questions, give them a call, look at the website, and, Megan, thanks as always. Appreciate
You're welcome. Thank you for having me.
And all you businesses out there, hey, stay in there, keep working hard. We'll get through this, and everybody have a great day in the Lord. We'll see you next time.